Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're over here on the Japanese side of the game with the new BLITZ Alliance battle that has just released with the Yamato Super Suga Fest. So Yamato and Page1 Ulti did come out about a week ago, and now we have a new X-Drake BLITZ battle that is a 40 stamina 10-star event. And in today's video, I do have 14 to you guys that utilize a bunch of boosted units to help you guys get the most amount of drops. And before we begin today's video, I have to say, look, the boosted list is pretty dookie, and because it is Japan, things are going to get a little bit competitive, so just be very mindful of that. But I do have a picture of the infograph here. Sorry it's a bit blurry, but big shout out to Thick. It did pop up in the Discord, our Discord, as well as the One Piece Discord, so huge shout out to Thick for the infograph, really appreciate it. But these are the characters on screen that are boosted. Now, as you can see, obviously Yamato, Page 1, the new batch are going to be giving you guys a lot more points, but then we do have some older units, and basically all of Wano characters can give you guys a little bit more points. So in today's video, as I mentioned, I do have a team that does use the whole boosted system, just to sort of give you guys an idea of the content and have a chat about a few things. The second team I have doesn't use any of the new batch. All of the teams use a friend captain Yamato, however, but the second team doesn't use any of the new characters as well as the new legends. The third team utilizes the new batch but doesn't use any of the new legends. So it does use the 4 characters that you see up in the 1.25 times points with a captain kid. And then the final team is a bit of a hybrid with Page1 Ulti as our captain, doesn't use Yamato, but uses a couple of the batch and some replacements there. So we'll have a talk about that once we hop into the content. Don't forget to smash the like button if you're enjoying today's video. And if you are new to the channel, make sure to hit that big red subscribe button too. But with that said, let's dive into the content. Alright, so team number 1 is that big old Quailin team using Yamato, Ulti, as well as the new batch. So this is the team, this is the supports. Let's dive in. Alright, so we're over here on stage 3. Now, this team is pretty much a no-stall team because we get so many cooldowns. But on stage 3, we actually come up against X-Drake. X-Drake's going to take away all our orbs and give us the orb lock mechanic. He really doesn't do too much else. He does it like one more time, and then other than that, like he really doesn't do too much. So don't stress. If you need to hang around on this stage, you definitely can. Once you move on to the next stage, however, on stage 4, we come up against Black Maria, Sasuke, and Whos Who. Now, they can all rotate, and depending on who's in the front is depending on what happens. So we got Whos Who here. And with Whos Who, he gives us 5 turns of paralysis and 5 turns of despair. If you get Sasuke in the front, he gives himself resilience as well as 5 turns of threshold. And if it's Black Maria actually gives paralysis and threshold. So because we had Whos Who's really good at removing that. But basically the character that is in the front is the character that you want to use. With the character in the front, however, they have over 10 million HP, and the characters in the back don't actually have that much, and they don't do too much. They don't do too much damage. So the idea is you really want to make sure that you actually take out the character in the front. So for this particular variation, or this particular run, I had Whos Who. So ideally, we want to take out Whos Who in the front, and then we can focus on Sasuke and Black Maria. They don't do too much damage. They only rotate your orbs into negative orbs. If you don't kill the unit in the front, however, they're going to do a few more things. Black Maria puts up damage reduction, the Sasuke puts up defense up, and I'm pretty sure the Whos Who does like double damage. So ideally, you really want to take out that front unit who has the most HP. Once you move on to the final stage, though, we come up against Ulti themselves. They're going to bind our bottom row, but thanks to Yamato, we can get around that. They give us 5 turns of that chain attack down reduction debuff, that new debuff. And they give us a full board of block orbs, as well as special bind our middle row. So Black Maria is great to remove the special bind, but she's really not essential, and we'll talk about that once we hit the last team. But out of the new batch, out of like everyone that is boosted, she's pretty much the only character, like the character you can get away with not using, as well as Page1 Ulti. But they're really nice because they can do that 2.25 times conditional boost. Whichever character you didn't use, so like say you didn't use, for us we didn't use Sasuke, we're going to get the orb boost that way. But honestly, with Yamato's chain locking abilities, with her 1.75 times extra damage, and with that 2.25, that massive 2.25 conditional boost that Ulti can actually give us, the stage really doesn't see too many issues. So that was the big Quailin team. It does give us something like 15.62 times points. So this is what I mean by it's going to be quite competitive. All of the alliances that have that high multiplier, they're going to do really well. Let's move on to the next team now. Alright, so the next team utilizes a Legend Kid captain, the Onigashima trio, with no new batch, but we are bringing a friend Yamato. So this is the team, this is the supports, let's dive in. Alright, so once again, we're over here on stage 3, and we come up against X-Drake. Now, with this particular team, I did really struggle to find a character that could remove defense up, and damage reduction. However, you can actually replace VV Rebecca on this particular team with the X-Drake himself. If you guys want to get more points and you want to make this team more efficient in terms of your point gains per run, you can easily slide X-Drake, the free-to-play X-Drake, from this event into the team. However, the run is definitely not as smooth. It does take significantly longer, and I would recommend just using VV Rebecca over them because you can just get more runs in. You won't get as many points as your multiplier is a little bit lower, but you will be able to do more runs, and you will sort of maximize your amount of gains if you are missing the entire batch and the new legends. Obviously, Zora can be replaced by Black Maria. Jinbei can be replaced by Sasuke, and Killer can be replaced by Who's Who. The big upside to this particular team, or the big thing that we need to note, is we are using the Dreadnought Saber. The Dreadnought Saber is really, really, really key, and I'm really, really glad we got Sasuke on this particular run, because this is going to showcase that. Because we have Sasuke in the front, he puts up Resilience and Threshold. As I mentioned, they all do different things depending on who's in the front. So with this particular team, we can use the Kid Special to get an attack boost. We can use Jinbei for Color Affinity to heal back up. Use the Kid Special once again to get an Orb boost. And then we can use the Super Typing of Kid, so that way we can actually get a full board of orbs. We can finally finish it off with the VV Rebecca switch ability for the chain lock. That way we can do a bunch of damage to Sasuke there. We can actually take out Who's Who in the back as well. And we can do a butt ton of damage to our girl Black Maria in the back. Because we have the Dreadnought Saber, we actually get that 1 turn end of turn damage. That way we can actually get through the resilience that Sasuke does provide, and we really don't have to worry about it. But if you guys do have Sasuke, the actual rare recruit himself, he just makes this stage so much easier. We didn't need the Killer special. Killer's really, really good because Killer basically directly replaces Who's Who. You don't get the attack boost like Who's Who can provide, but Killer's just a direct replacement, and that's why he's here. Moving on to the final stage against Polti, they give us block orbs, the attack down chain coefficient reduction debuff, as well as special binding our middle row. So with Zoro, the reason we do have the rare recruit Zoro that came out with the Onigashima trio is he can actually give us an orb boost and remove the special bind. Honestly though, like, you could replace Zoro with like any other character that can give you some sort of buff. You can also use the support of what's it called? Actually, no, you can't use the support of... I was going to say you can use the support of Nami for color affinity, but we actually have color affinity with VV Rebecca anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So just ignore that. Zoro's great because he gives an orb boost. Kid's going to give an attack boost. We can get the chain boost mechanic with Yamato, and that way we can get color affinity with VV Rebecca as well. With the final tap of Yamato, as you guys will see here, we do a butt ton of damage. Like, honestly, with Yamato's final tap, she literally does all the work for us. And without the new batch, without the new legends, we can actually get it done. The team is a little bit janky, but it does actually work quite nicely if you guys are missing or you didn't summon. I would highly recommend summoning, though. Yamato's really, really good, and she's about to get a 6+. But 2.93 points without using any new batch. Pretty nice gains. Let's move on to the next team now. Alright, so team number 3 utilizes Legend Kid as our captain, uses the batch as well as the new X-Drake. So this is the team, these are the supports, let's dive in. Alright, so this team functions very similar to the double Yamato team, however, it just doesn't have as much damage output. Once again, on the X-Drake stage, we do get our orbs taken away from us, as well as the orb seal mechanic. We can just use X-Drake himself on this particular stage, though. I do have the support of Robin here, just for a little bit of extra damage. We do have 3 int characters here, so with that, we can actually take him out in 1 turn, which is really, really nice, but you really want to make sure you are hitting those perfects, so that way you actually get rid of that orb seal for the next turn. So on stage 4, we come up against the 3 of the Toby Roppo, being Who's Who, Black Maria, and Sasuke. Now, as I've mentioned, they all do different things depending on who's in the front. This particular run, we had Sasuke in the front, so we needed to remove the Resilience and the Threshold, which Sasuke's really, really good at doing. We can use a Kid special to give ourselves an attack boost, as we did use the Sasuke special to get an orb boost. If you need to use Who's Who on this stage, you can then use Kid to get the orb boost. It just works really, really nicely as Kid as your captain, as it just helps to get around those nasty debuffs. Now, ideally, like, for this particular team, you really want Sasuke in the front. It works really nicely because you can actually get, like, really big damage with Kid on this particular stage. But another really good option for this particular team is you can actually run the Moby Dick. The Moby Dick, I'm just running the host ship just to try and get more XP to try and level up, and that way I can actually get some more meats to do some more runs. But as you can see, the units in the back, if you don't kill them on the first turn, they just give you a bunch of negative orbs, and then you can just take them out after that. It's not that big of a deal. If you get below 50% HP, obviously you get the damage reduction from Yamato as well, which is really nice, as well as that chain coefficient, or that chain boost in her captain ability as well. As I was saying though, you can easily use the Moby Dick, and what you can do is you can actually take some damage on the what's his name, the X-Drake stage, and that way you should be able to do more damage on this particular stage. But nevertheless, it doesn't matter. As long as you kill that unit in the front, you are going to be absolutely hunky-dory. Once we move on to the final stage against Polti, they give us a full board of block orbs. They're going to special bind our middle row and bind our bottom row, but that's why we want to bring Yamato as a friend captain, so we can get around the block orbs, the attack down chain lock or chain coefficient reduction, whatever debuff you want to call it. Yamato basically just like claps this entire stage. Like, she just makes it so easy with her chain buff mechanic, the chain lock, like the multiply buff mechanic, as well as manipulating the orbs and getting around the debuffs. Black Maria gives us color affinity. She can also get around the special bind. Kid is going to give us the attack or the orb boost depending on whatever character we have left. And because we didn't use Who's Who on the last turn, we can get an attack boost there. And as you can see, we have heaps and heaps of damage. The only stage of this sort of team struggles with is the 4th stage, but I feel like most teams are going to struggle there anyway. This team has a lot of points as well, which is really, really good. Obviously, it does use the new batch. So there is that, but 5.37 without using the new legends is actually pretty good. So let's move on to the final team of the video now. Alright, so the final team of the video is a bit of a janky one. We're using Page1 Ulti as our captain, and this is the team. These are the supports. Let's dive in. So if you guys threw some ultis at the Yamato banner and you managed to pick up Page1 Ulti, you managed to get a couple of the rare recruits, but you just didn't really get everything, then this is probably the team for you guys. We do have the X-Drake on this team, the free-to-play X-Drake you can get from this particular event. Once again, we have Zoro. Zoro is really, really good for this fight. He can remove special bind. He can give me our orb booster. He just works really, really well. Next, we've got Who's Who, and then we've got Sasuke. Now, you can replace Sasuke with Jinbei. I feel like Jinbei will work absolutely fine, as he can remove the threshold. But when it comes to replacing both Sasuke and Who's Who, I'm just not 100% sure if you have the damage on this particular stage. Once again, we got Sasuke in the front, and ideally what you want to do here is you actually want to use the Sasuke special to get around the debuffs. But if you don't have Sasuke himself, you could easily just replace him and put that Jinbei character in, the one that came out with the Onigashima trio. And to replace Who's Who, you can actually use Killer. The downside to actually doing that, with Killer, the replacement for for Who's Who with Killer, Who's Who actually gives an attack buff, where Killer doesn't provide us with any buff. He's great at utility removal, but he doesn't actually give us some sort of buff. We're then going to wrap it up with the Page1 Ulti special, and that way we can get the extra damage, that 2.25 times damage. Now, I just absolutely decimate that stage. Page1 Ulti give end of turn damage as well, so you don't need the resilience removal. But I'm just not 100% sure if you'll be able to do that much damage, as both Jinbei and Killer aren't getting boosted under Page1 and Ulti. So there is that to worry about. But this particular team, if you did manage to pick up Who's Who and Sasuke, you will be in good stead. Black Maria is not essential at all for this particular fight. Obviously, if you have Black Maria as well, just put Black Maria instead of Zoro, that will work absolutely fine, because then you just get color affinity on the final stage. Because as you guys are about to see, I'll go Yamato. She don't mess around. She does so much damage on this last turn that if you manage to get her final tap off, she's just going to be absolutely... She's just going to go absolutely crazy. But that's going to wrap up today's video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Good luck in the Blitz if you are taking part on the Japanese side of the game. Most importantly, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Don't forget to smash the like button if you did enjoy today's video too. And if you are new, hit that big red subscribe button as well. But guys, if you're on this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later!